Hey, what's up, amigos? How are you guys doing today? Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're new here, my name's Tobias and welcome to another Fish Fridays. And like I said in last week's video, today what we're going to be doing is setting up the mini pond right there. I haven't really talked about too much about how I'm going to do it, but let me just explain it to you really quick and then we'll start putting it together. It should be super simple. So I think I am going to keep the pond in this area pretty much right next to the pool pond, just because it'll be close to the power outlet, which is underneath that bucket right there. Pretty much I have this black planter, this thing right here, in the middle of the pond, and I'm going to make my filter out of this, and check it out. It fits right inside this circle in the middle of the pond, which is pretty crazy. And by the way, this pond, or whatever you want to call it, is a pre-formed pond mold that I got at Home Depot a couple years ago. It's 35 gallons and I believe it costs $35. So if you guys are interested in getting one of these, that's where I got it from. They might also have them at Lowe's, I'm not 100% sure, but I got mine at Home Depot. And the way I want to set this up is kind of like a sponge filter. I've never done this before, but I'm pretty sure it should work. So pretty much, let me show you guys the pump I have. So this is my pump and it fits in here perfectly. Check that out. The pump will pretty much go inside that bucket, or planter I should say. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this planter up with lava rocks. And I'm going to take those lava rocks out of my filter over there because those lava rocks already have beneficial bacteria on them, and then I'll replace those with new lava rocks. Luckily I won't need to take too many, it's just going to be enough to fill up this planter right here. And I'm actually going to remove this hose from the top of the pump, and I have this other attachment that I will stick onto the top. And then so basically what's going to happen is the pump will suck in water through the lava rocks, which will have beneficial bacteria on them, or nitrifying bacteria, and then it will shoot up the cycled water through the top. So that's at least how I think it should work. That's basically how a sponge filter works. You know, instead of pulling water through lava rocks, a sponge filter pulls water through a sponge. So like I said, I've never tried this before, but I'm almost certain it should work. And then of course I have the power cable for the pump, and that will go right over there. And yeah, that should basically be it. And just really quick before we get started, guys, I want to do my shout outs really quick. So I have a shout out for J Plateface Videos, and I have a shout out for Nick Gilias. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys so much for being Aquamigos. If any of you guys watching this video would like a shout out in my next fish video, all you have to do is go down to the comments below and comment, "I am an Aquamigo," and let's go ahead and get right into this. Alright guys, so I got everything rinsed out. So the next thing I'm going to do, which I think is kind of important, I'm going to fill up the pond first. Before we go any further, I'm going to fill up the pond with water first. Then I'm going to dechlorinate that water. Then I'm going to go over to that filter. I think I'm going to actually take them from the smaller waterfall filter. I'm going to take the lava rocks out of that, and then after I've already dechlorinated this, then I'll go ahead and add the lava rocks to that planter right there, because if I were to add the water last, the problem is that the tap water has chlorine in it, and that could potentially kill off that beneficial bacteria. So I definitely want to make sure that water is dechlorinated before any rocks go in there. Okay guys, so I got some lava rocks from that filter over there. I put them inside this bucket with some water from the pond. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Ziploc bag and put it down at the bottom of this planter, because as you can see there's holes in it. And basically what I want to do, because the pump is going to be at the bottom, I want to force the water to come through all the rocks before getting to the bottom, instead of just coming through the side right here and then going directly into the pump. So putting this plastic bag down there will just, you know, force the water to come in through the top. Alright guys, that's the basic idea for the filter. I still need to put some more lava rocks in there, but what I'm going to do is I have a couple bags of brand new lava rocks. I'm just gonna rinse those off, put them on top. I'm also gonna, you know, put some more into that filter where I took these ones from, and then the filter will pretty much be good to go. Alright guys, so we got the filter set up. I think that's pretty good today. I'm going to continue this video tomorrow because I'm getting like eaten alive by mosquitoes right now. And I actually want to go ahead and add some water lilies to the mini pond. I think that would be pretty cool. So I'll be right back tomorrow. Alright guys, so it is the next day. Let's go ahead and finish up the mini pond. So the first thing is, unfortunately, I need to move the mini pond like a little bit further this way because it's a little too close to that wall, and like when the gardeners come, they need to cut that bush and everything. So I'm going to have to take some water out and move it over here. Then after that, I want to go in here and I want to take that middle water lily plant and propagate some water lilies from that I can add to the mini pond as well. So let's go ahead and do those two things really quick. All right, that's much better. Alright guys, so what I just did is I took my water lilies out of there and I put them in this bucket really quick. And basically the reason that I put it inside water is because I realized from the last time that I did this, last time I propagated water lilies, it's a little easier to see what's going on when the lilies are all floating up. So that's why I did that. And oh, I got a water lettuce in there. So over here I have two of these planters right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and try to see if I can make two separate plants, just because while I have them out, I might as well do both since I have two containers. One will go into the mini pond and the other one will just go into the pool pond. And the way I'm going to do this is I have some clippy boys right there. I have a shovel, I have a serrated knife. Right here, I have some washed out play sand. If this isn't enough, I have the rest in there. I just need to wash it out. Then I have some pea pebbles right here, which I do need to rinse out still. And then over here, I have some fertilizer tablets for the water lilies, so I'll be putting those in as well. If you look online, you know, they'll say that you should use some aquatic plant substrate or like pond plant substrate or something to do this. Basically like a clay-based soil. I don't have that, but I think like the sand and the pea pebbles will do fine. And actually over here, when I propagated these water lilies right here, I used sand and I believe I used pea pebbles or lava rocks. And that one seems to be doing fine, so I'm assuming it'll be okay. So I won't bore you with me rinsing off those pebbles right there, so I'll come back when I'm done with that, and then we'll start looking for some good parts that I can separate. Alright guys, so pretty much to stop sand and pebbles from going through those holes at the bottom of these planters, I put some larger rocks down there, and I'm just gonna put some of this washed pea gravel on top of that. And then I'll put the sand on top of that. So I've never done this before, but my original plant is so densely packed into this container that I think I'm going to have to just take the entire thing out of the container and plant it in one of these, just because it's like, these are like twice the size. Alright guys, so check it out. I was able to separate one plant, which I think looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant that in here. I'll try to use up some of that clay soil that came out of the original pot and put some of that down there. I'll add my fertilizer tablet, put the plant in, add the pea gravel, and yeah, that should be it. And then we'll do the same thing. So it looks like in that blue bucket that I was using over there, I was pretty much like using the water in that bucket to loosen up the plant, but it looks like I probably have another 2 plants in there that I can put in separate pots. Okay, so far we have the one over there, we have the one in here, and then in here, there's actually quite a bit more than I thought there was. I think there's probably enough for like, I don't know, I want to say like maybe, yeah, I mean, look at that, that's massive. There's enough in there for like probably 2 more, maybe 3 more plants. I'm gonna see if I could just fit that into one pot. The other thing I just remembered is that I put this in here a while ago. They were supposed to be mini foxtails. You can't really see, but there's a pot down there. They're supposed to be mini foxtails. They never grew. I think my fish got part of the plant, and I found like part of the root system like floating, but there still is something in there. I think I'm gonna take that out, put it in the mini pond, because what I think happened is I think I put it too low down in the water. I think it should have been more of like a marginal plant, like more in like shallow water. So I want to put it in there, see if it ever comes back or not. If it doesn't, you know, I'll have to get rid of it. But I'm gonna take that out, put it into the mini pond. I'll try to get that water lily into one single pot, and I'll probably put it here where that foxtail was. Yeah, so I don't know guys, I think I might just go ahead and get rid of this. This is where the plant was supposed to be, and like I said earlier, I found basically the root system floating around in the pool pond. So I'm pretty sure there's nothing in here. Oh shit, there's a bunch of scuds in there. Maybe I'll just put this in the water, let all the scuds escape. If you guys don't know what scuds are, they're basically like these little shrimp things, and people actually buy them as like live food for their fish. And I think when I initially bought my water lily plant, that's what introduced scuds into my pond. And they're great, like I don't mind them at all. They basically add like a free live food source for my fish, and you know, they love to eat them. But anyways, let's go ahead and pot these last water lilies in this bucket. All right, guys, so we got the lilies right there. You know, they look a little wonky right now, but what happens is after you plant them, they take like a day or so, and then all those pads will be up at the surface like normal. So we got those, we got the ones in the middle. We have these ones from before. And then, of course, we have the ones in the mini pond. And I think what I'm going to do, since I have like no use for that pot anymore, I'm going to dump out all the rocks and stuff that I have in there. I'll just dump them out inside the mini pond, so it's kind of like a little substrate, and then I could save that planter for the next time I want to propagate water lilies. So I'm just gonna let it clear up for a few minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I also want to try a little experiment and see how a water hyacinth plant does in here. I just want to see if it does okay. I mean, I've had them in here before, but never with the filter, so let's just see how that works, and then I'll give you guys a better look once the water is a little clearer. So anyways, guys, I'm pretty happy with the way that the mini pond turned out. I think I mentioned it before, but my plans for this mini pond is for it to be a guppy pond for my fancy guppies. I'm gonna put some fancy guppies in that pond, and I'm only going to be able to keep them out there for probably up until October of this year, and then I'll have to bring them back inside because it'll get too cold outside. I actually just touched the water of the mini pond, and it's actually fairly warm, so I want to kind of monitor the temperature before adding any fish to it, because it does feel quite a bit warmer. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it's definitely significantly warmer than the pool pond, just because it's so much smaller, and also it's, you know, black, it conducts more heat, and it's like a plastic material that like heats up pretty quickly. So I just want to make sure, just want to monitor the temperature for like the next week, and then in next Friday's video I want to go ahead and add some fish into that mini pond, some of my guppies. Also, you know, I'll check the parameters, make sure it's safe. That filter should be cycled because I used cycled media from my existing pool pond filter, so it should be good to go. But anyways, guys, if you did like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you went down there and gave this video a like. That would help me out so much. If you would like to see more videos by me in the future, make sure to go down there and hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell notifications button. I upload new fish videos every Friday. If you would like a shout out in next Friday's video, all you have to do is go down to the comments below and comment, "I am an Aquamigo," and I'll shout you out in my next fish video. My camera just died on me, but if you would like to follow me on Instagram, I'll put my handle right here. It's @YT_Tobias, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.